What's up, all you motherfuckers? Welcome back to your favorite midnight snack. The sun's sunk down below the horizon. You've nestled into your bed. Cracked the window for that nice breeze cascading over your body. Don't crack that window too far, because the nocturnes are out. The vampires, the bats, the moles, the badgers. Not the honey badgers. Badgers might be diurnal, actually. They might swing either way. We've got 3 of my very favorite nocturnes blowing in through that window. They're creeping around your ears as you sleep. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, you motherfucker.
I'm so glad to be doing Radio Respawn again.
Yeah, good
Holy
times.
shit. Wow. Welcome aboard the midnight train, fellas. Go down the line. First off, introduce yourselves to our listeners, our AM radio listeners.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Matt Perez, producer on production services.
I'm Chris Lockey, a.k.a. Duke of Hurl, producer, writer, director, editor, cinematographer for Headshot, videographer.
That was the most pregnant pause I've ever heard before an intro.
You left me hanging there.
But if the... Is the head turn built into your introduction? You were like...
Well, nobody can see it because we're on the radio.
I bumped my mic. That's
like
really unprofessional radio behavior. And over here, regular on the show.
Yeah,
Yes,
APL
woo.
Fisher, work on Respawn now. Yeah.
TGIF, gents. All right, it looks like we got a bunch of stuff to go through today. Lockout is out on DVD, Blu-ray. I'm excited about that. I'm probably the only one here, but that's all right. Comic-Con just wrapped up last week. We all had a variety of different experiences there. Good announcements there, as well as, here we go. This is for you, APL. EA and Steam are dusting up again. All right, first off, let's see. Oh, right out of the gates, DVD Blu-ray release, Lockout. Any of you guys see it in the theater? No?
I have not.
God, I'm kicking myself because I have a feeling I'm going to watch this and be super sad. This movie is out on DVD Blu-ray this week. In case you
It's a good cast.
missed it,
Guy
because
Pearce.
it was in the theater for It was
Was it really in the theater?
It was in the theater for at least four hours. Enough to squeeze out 2
I
screenings.
should have seen it then. 4 hours.
Guy Pearce, Maggie Grace, Space Prison. She's the president's daughter, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
That's how you know it's sci-fi, because the president has never had a daughter that hot.
Here, let me read the synopsis to you guys exactly here. Set in the near future, Lockout follows a falsely convicted ex-government agent, Guy Pearce, whose one chance at obtaining freedom lies in the dangerous mission of rescuing the president's daughter, played by Maggie Grace, from riding convicts at an outer space maximum security prison. Lockout was directed by Stephen St. Leger. All that. Luc Besson's in there
Luc Besson.
somewhere. Peter Stormare.
Oh,
I think that's how you
Stormare.
say
I
that.
love him.
Stormare. Yeah.
Pater.
That's not as
Stormare,
cool,
to
but
be
we'll
precise.
go with it.
Payter.
So anyway, that's out on DVD. I'm going to watch it today.
You said we go to Pancake's house.
Yeah. That dude is so good. He's been in space before because he manned the space station in Armageddon.
He did. That's right.
That's
Good
right.
call. Good call.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have thoughts on this at all, or are we just moving on?
I am absolutely not going to watch this movie.
Guy Pearce reminds me of Snake Plissken. Maggie Grace, I know Duke thinks she's a fine piece of
She's all
humanity.
right. And I mean, the title, Lockout, Locky.
Oh,
I don't know.
All the
Maybe
times.
I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
That's good.
that's true. I actually read this when I got the notes, and it said plug, lock, and then
It was weird.
It
I read it-
automatically went to plug, Locky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read it as Locky, cinematographer, director, producer. It was weird.
I was playing the. So I'm
You
into
left
the
out
movie.
editing.
I'm into watching this movie, but I was playing the real quick. We don't need to dwell on a movie none of us have seen for too long. But
Keep talking about it.
I was playing the trailer for Mondo, and our producer Mondo, not the poster
Speaking
artist, who's
Wow, what a segue.
balls
Yeah.
you're slobbering on all the
Good
time.
segue,
We'll
Matt.
get to it. But the trailer has every kitschy, stereotypical. If you're watching it, though, you can't really tell. So I had everyone stand on the other side of my computer and just listen. And it's like, alone in space. And then you hear the president go, "He's the only man alive who can do this." And the trailer's like, "No one can hear you scream." Not really, but it's got every one man, one law.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
In a world.
Anyway, yeah, watch. Actually, don't watch. Listen to the trailer. It's a laugh. All right, moving on. Comic-Con is wrapped as of last week. This week has been recovery for us. We all went.
Mm-hmm.
I worked. You worked.
Yes, sir.
You went for fun one day, and you went for fun all days.
I went for fun.
We had
what I got was something completely different.
Oh, really? I haven't talked to you since we've been back. Wait a minute. You get psyched on Comic-Con every year.
Yeah,
what
I know.
happened?
I don't know. It's a comedy of errors. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. And it was the worst Comic-Con for me ever.
It was the best Comic-Con for me ever.
Yeah, I'm a little depressed. Yeah.
Opposite
I
ends
need.
of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I set a new land speed record, a personal best for myself. I did 40 interviews in one day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a 12-hour run.
Can I just say some of my personal favorite Sark Comic-Con experiences?
Yeah, go.
Because I was in the editing booth. So I think my favorite Sark piece that I cut, well, I didn't even have to cut because you guys are so great, was the Stan Lee walk and talk.
Oh, man. The true Hollywood stories.
True Hollywood stories of
People
Sark.
have been asking me if that's real, and I'm telling them. That's why I told you it was true 3 times in the video.
I really wanted to intercut that scene from Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Where Wahlberg gets in. He's like,
Absolutely, man.
and that's all I could think about was fucking Boogie Nights.
I'm not going to share the story here because we already did it in a classic P.T. Anderson one shot. But go check
And
out
by the
that
way,
bit.
that
We'll
was
put a link in the description.
That was some Goodfellas shit. Whoever was that Ty?
You like
man
that?
came
That
out?
was Ty. Yeah.
I thought you guys were gonna go into the kitchen. It was
You know
fucking
what
crazy.
the original plan is? Here's a little bit behind the scenes. We were going to, because Stan Lee was at the party, and even though this would have flown like a fucking brick, what we were going to do is begin a walk through the club into an interview with Stan, out of the interview, through the club, into the dildo story. Small spoiler. So,
That would be awesome.
epic.
but yeah, well, I don't know how Marvel.
Excelsior.
I don't know how
Frosty
Marvel would
dildos
have
with
liked
Stan
that. Yeah, a bunch of stuff happened at Comic-Con. We got a little list here. And a 53-year-old Twilight fan got run over.
Now, can we classify this? This is written here as a tragedy. Can we classify this as a tragedy?
I think so. This is a somber note here. I mean,
Okay,
it's
I'm sorry.
certainly, we could inject as much comedy into this as we want
Wow.
to, but
Yeah.
there's not really too much funny about a woman getting her head cracked open right in front of several 100,000 people at a comic convention.
Well,
Says
Well,
you.
I don't know.
well.
Too soon? It's been a week, man.
Yeah, it's not about too
when is this
soon.
gonna
I
be
mean,
good
it's
to
just
go?
about
this
I mean,
got
this
dark,
is
I
something
thought.
that. Yeah, exactly. It got dark. I didn't put this on the fucking list. You know. I gotta admit, I found out about that before I went down, and it certainly was a strange. It was a strange. I mean, between that and the stabbing in Hall H, when was that? 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was the pin.
last
That was
year?
last year, yeah.
Yeah, I almost missed that.
So
The
this was here's
This really
the facts.
affected you?
Here's the facts.
woman died, man.
Gisela,
I think it's pronounced Hisela.
Hisela. 53-year-old woman,
Oh,
Twilight
53,
fan.
huh?
She was in the line for the Twilight panel, which kicked off the convention on Thursday. She was hustling to stay with the line. The lines are so long, by the way, at Comic-Con that they are broken up by the street. Like their segment, it's like hundreds of yards long. So the guy in front of you in line may get across the street, and the guard will hold you up there, and then the line just continues.
Well, now that
So
we're
she
discussing
went
this,
to cross
now
the
that we're
street and got
discussing
hit.
this,
Yeah.
I stood in that same line and I crossed that same street, and
Yeah.
I've been to Comic-Con like 6 times now, and I have to admit the staff that was running that line were some of the most indignant, disrespectful assholes I've ever encountered at a public event that people pay hundreds of dollars to attend, and they were telling us literally to run across the street, to stay up, to keep the gaps closed, keep the gaps closed, keep the gaps closed.
So
And then
she was
basically, yeah, I
murdered.
mean, if
Yeah,
somebody wasn't going to get hit by a
That's
car,
what I'm hearing.
there was going to be some kind of stampede, and people started trampling each other. I mean,
Yeah,
it
but-
was really bad.
I don't know. I heard that they broke the line up, so they made one part of the line, and then So she was at the front of the line. This is what I heard. And I don't know. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So she was front of the line.
We'll all tell the stories we heard.
Yeah.
She was front of the line. They broke it up, and they were gonna put her at the end of the line. So she freaked out, and then she fucking like ran, tripped, fell down into the street.
I'm
about to take us off the air, Matt, because now I'm with Lockie. You're a demented
getting a little
motherfucker.
You're laughing.
But it's just. I'm sorry. That's fucked up.
Do you? What is going on? Do you hear the
Producer saying, "Move on."
Wow.
So that she gets hit by the guy
Okay.
on accident. But so it's I don't understand. It's like I don't know. There's to me when I think of that, I feel like you said the staff was bad and all, but I feel like there's some sort of like. You gotta use
Responsibility to be put
responsibility.
on there.
Like, don't fucking freak out and run. It's a Twilight panel. That isn't worth your life to me.
Right.
I would,
Yeah.
that's.
I would say in an
I don't know if that's true.
ironic
The
way.
convention does have an intoxicating effect at times.
It does,
so.
and it's hot out there. I mean, it's
Wait,
it was
real
a
quick, we
split-second
got to
bad
blast through the
decision.
rest of Comic-Con because we're about to go to break. Couple other adventures that we got into. I saw a woman's finger get bitten off by a pit bull right in front of the Hard Rock Hotel.
Now that's a
Pit bull
tragedy we
attack-
can laugh about.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
So Pitbull
Yeah.
fingers. are-
Pitbull attacked her dog. She tried to pry the pit bull off of her dog. Got her finger in its mouth somehow. That's not a good idea.
That's fucked up.
Don't try and manually unpry a pit bull's jaws. And it
Damn.
just snipped it like a right at the end of the knuckle.
Well,
she was just screaming, and we were just standing there, and I see the fray, and then I just hear, and now it's like berserk. People start screaming and running, and I hear a woman screaming, "My baby! My baby!" And she's screaming because her dog is getting mauled. It's like being held by the pit bull, and And then it took like 3 dudes to pull the dog off of one of our PAs, hopped in there actually, pulled the pit bull off. Yeah. It's
And
crazy.
It's about the owners with
But
the pit bulls.
that
all
is
the
kind of a
time. That's why
tragedy
it's
because
the
I assume they're
owners.
gonna put that pit bull down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sad.
So that's
I
not
think-
funny.
Well, if you bit
Pitbull
some
being put
fucking
down.
dude's throat in the street, I'd put you down, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't see.
That's not funny, Matt. The idea of
someone
like
down.
No, that's
a
not-
pit bull and a kennel, and then a fucking needle, and then it puts it into the, and then the dog's like, oh man,
Wow, this is a dark
killing dog.
radio.
It went dark.
Well,
Kate Beckinsale loves me. Interviewed her. She's my free pass.
She is really.
Yeah.
I think we might have had this discussion because
I couldn't capitalize.
she was biting her lip.
I just
man.
couldn't
She
do
was
it.
so
Saw the
busy.
photo.
Yeah.
Saw the photo on Twitter.
And finally, once again, we're going to plug these 3 videos. You reached out on a whim to these guys that you have admired for a while, mondotees.com. Once sort of a miscellaneous t-shirt movie like paraphernalia and sundry. Now it's like they concentrate on posters. And you reached out to them and ended up helping sort of get behind this 3-video series that's like one of the greatest things we've filmed, I think.
Yeah.
It's legit, man.
No, it's cool. Yeah, I hope everybody can go and give it some love and check it out.
Yeah.
Go peep
Definitely
the
watch it.
vids and go check out Mondo Tees.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. They're doing drops all the time. They're doing their Dark Knight Rises 24-hour timed release drop tomorrow. So,
All right, you guys, hold it right there. We got to take a real quick break so we can get a word in from our sponsors.
So don't you go nowhere, you little sleeping bird, laying in your bed with the covers pulled up to your chin. Don't you slide that window shut, that breeze feels so nice. We'll be right back. Don't you turn that dial on that AM radio you're listening to at 2 in the morning. We're gonna go to a break. We'll be right back. If I can talk after this, and when we come back, it's gonna be a little bit more lighthearted than this dark, evil bullshit we've been up to. See you in a minute.
Jesus H.
Yeah.
I mean, really, dude.
Every time, man.
Laughing about the dead chick. That's really.
Yeah, hold on. Let's talk about
we
this.
need to bring this up because this is a good discussion.
Okay, the Twilight fan, not cool. All right?
no,
We're
cool.
rated
I take
not
that back.
cool.
I take that back.
I mean,
I
No,
take that back.
Listen.
I take it back.
Listen.
I'm going to give it a sort of cool.
Sort of cool. No,
I
there's
don't know.
nothing.
Well,
there's
we got
nothing
to
off
have
limits
this
to comedy.
ironed out before we get back from break. We got to all be on the same page. All right. The Pitbull, that was all right. That was just a finger, right? We can all agree on
Yeah.
that, sort of.
Yeah.
No?
Pitbull-
The
but-
Pitbull's going to die.
Yeah, it's dead.
Yeah.
It's probably dead at this point. So, I mean, 2 lives have been lost.
Fuck it. It's a flesh-eating monster.
Okay.
What's okay? Well, then what is okay?
What isn't okay to joke about?
Yeah.
Rape's not very funny, I guess.
Rape, not too funny?
Not too funny.
Tosh found that out
The hard way.
Yeah, he challenged his audience.
Hopefully
to
he
rape a
doesn't
girl.
have a Kramer coming his way after that shit.
That's
you
even a
know
little
what I
bit.
mean?
Although you made an interesting point when we talked about this a little bit ago that if he'd have told the audience to murder her, it probably would have been
wouldn't have
funny rather than
Gone over
rape her.
as badly.
Sad but true. I mean, yeah. Think about it.
I would have laughed at
Think
the
about
murder
it.
thing. What about 9/11? Are we good? Are we good to go on that yet?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
No?
I don't think there's anything off limits to comedy, for real.
Yeah.
Anything.
Holocaust.
I don't think so. I don't
okay.
think you can.
That's never good then,
I don't think
because
so.
there's no.
I don't think so.
No?
I think you can do 9/11, but you can't do the Holocaust.
Why?
Because the
Why?
Holocaust
Fuck.
was a genocide, and
See,
9/11
it's all
like,
subjective.
It was an attempted genocide. He didn't succeed. Okay, I know a lot of
Yeah,
Jewish
it's,
folk. So
I know a lot of Manhattanites that would disagree with you as well.
yeah. All right. So Holocaust not funny
not funny
to you.
to me.
9/11's all right though.
I don't think it's so much funny, but I think that it's fair game.
What about abortion?
Yeah. I mean,
Back in 10.
We're back in 10 seconds.
9.
yeah.
So we've got I've got the
You got
Just kind of ashamed.
Humor is totally
to be
subjective.
sitting
very
here
good
right now.
shades of gray.
Yeah.
Well,
Shades gray.
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Gray. That's
2.
Would have been erotic.
Holocaust jokes.
And we're back. Welcome back to Radio Respawn. Hope you're still sitting there under the sheets, wiggling your toes, thinking about how much you missed us, because we're back and we're in better spirits than ever. We just broke down exactly what we could and couldn't joke about, and that's why this show's
It's gonna go so much smoother officially.
Yeah.
Starting right now.
Love that transition.
So much.
Love how you
guys-
own that transition now.
Oh, you guys wanted to chat a little bit. We weren't quite done with Comic-Con.
Well, yeah, we spent a lot of time on the darker side.
Yeah, let's talk
lighten
about
it
the
up.
lighter side. Let's talk about all the abortions that went down in San Diego over that week.
Yeah.
Where there was 18 million fetuses poured into gutters.
I cut up a few hookers myself.
Abortion jokes. Always good. No, let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. Speaking of abortions,
It's a little more like a stillbirth.
Possible.
I think, honestly.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, why the fuck did they choose Guardians
Take
of
it
the
away, Duke.
Galaxy? Okay, dig
Give
this.
it to us.
Now, if the abominations known as Tim Story's Fantastic Four movies never happened, right?
Okay. Yep.
The Silver Surfer would have been the logical course of action to introduce Thanos.
I hear ya.
Okay, and he's a badass. You know, we got Doug Jones's immaculate form, slender, athletic, combined with the
All
voice
right.
of
Okay. You're
This is
making
getting
me
a little
wet.
homoerotic
Yeah.
for me.
well,
Go on,
Larry
go on.
Fishburne's. You know, you're a Matrix man. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, you know, they could have maybe still done something with that. I don't know. I mean,
Larry Fishburne reminds me of a fat seal. Now that
putting on
there's
some weight.
an aside,
yeah,
his face looks like a moonscape.
it is. Yeah, he's a
I
little-
loved
he's a
him
little-
as Matrix Fishburne.
I think after hanging out with Danny Trejo on the set of
Oh,
Predators,
geez, yeah.
he picked up a few of his
that
beauty
guy probably
secrets.
loses toothpicks. Like they're like out through the.
Sorry, Danny, we didn't mean that personally.
Wow.
Wait, I totally derailed you there.
Guardians. I
of
mean,
the
what
Galaxy.
the hell?
Yeah. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Learn that we've got the titles of the next two movies: Thor: The Dark World, Captain
Yeah.
America: The Winter Soldier. Which,
Bucky Barnes.
if you hadn't have told me ahead of time, I would have been like, that's like the gay take on Captain America down at the Tomcat Theater down the street from where we're at. Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Soldier.
He'll warm your soul and your loins. At the second title, the crowd went nuts because, of course, Bucky is
Sidekick comes
Yeah.
back.
Bucky.
Captain America's
Barnes.
little sidekick. I can't get behind it. I'm sorry, man.
I just don't.
Sorry to all
see
the
any of
Captain
Yeah.
America fans out there.
I gotta admit, though, it's one of the better. I mean, out of all the lame ass sidekicks in the past, they managed to turn him into a pretty decent
yeah.
character there.
We saw Charlie Wynn's concept of Rocket Raccoon, and then the entire Guardians of the Galaxy team.
I mean, I'm down with Drax, the
Yeah.
Destroyer. He's my dog. He teamed up with Silver Surfer in the Infinity Gauntlet,
Okay.
which Thanos was.
So
the
you're
major villain
in.
of.
You know what? I'm into all this. I'm pretty forgiving actually of superhero movies. So I'm generally like going into them, I'm excited. I'm not always stoked when I walk out, but going in, I'm usually pretty excited. Edgar Wright, huge fan of Edgar Wright. He's talking about his Ant-Man movie.
Yes.
Which, if it was anybody but Edgar Wright, I would just be like, what the fuck? But I'm like, all right, yeah, go. You can do no wrong. And then let's talk real quick. Oz, the Great and Powerful trailer.
I like
You had strong opinions. I know Matt has strong opinions. I actually liked the trailer. I thought it looked interesting.
I think it looks horrible. I think, honestly, Raimi is entering his Tim Burton phase of his career.
Oh, man.
And it's fucking, and I don't even say that as a joke. I'm like scared. I am so scared for fucking Sam Raimi. This looks awful.
Okay.
It doesn't even resemble Raimi at all. And man, I think dark days are near for.
Here's our notes right now. When small-time magician Oscar Diggs pulls one flim-flam too many, he finds himself hurled into the fantastical land of Oz, where he must somehow transform himself into the great and powerful wizard, and just maybe into a better man as well.
That's a horrible plot synopsis.
And I fucking love The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I think it looks interesting. This looks like a movie that, Burton would do with Johnny Depp and What's-Her-Face every time. There was a comment on the trailer that I watched that was like, well, at least I'm glad Tim Burton didn't do this with Johnny Depp and who's the
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes, thank you.
Cartier.
Yeah. I think it looks
if
interesting.
I had a hot wife, I'd stick her in
That's
every
true.
movie
Put her in every movie.
I'd stick it in every
Sam Raimi burned me once again, not to beat a dead horse that's been dead for 30 years.
Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I could have seen this coming.
Spider-Man 3 is APL's 9/11.
It is.
That was
and it's
your
never
personal-
okay to joke about.
No, it's just not okay. It's never.
No.
But we're fans, right?
It may be horrible.
We're fans of Raimi. Like
Overall,
Yeah, but I mean,
I want to see a Simple Plan.
as much
Raimi.
as I love Evil Dead, it's still kind of crap.
Evil Dead.
I
I'm
mean,
talking about Simple Plan, or For the Love of the
Simple
Game,
Plan, something
Sam
like-
Raimi.
Fuck
or
Evil
like
Dead.
Why can't we get another
such
For the Love of
lofty
the
heights
Game?
as Darkman, or
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I'm being
I
sarcastic.
love Dark Man. But why
I
not
love
get
it
another
too,
Kevin
but it's
Costner
kinda-
vehicle?
All right.
Sorry.
Sam Raimi, yeah, mixed. Who knows?
Mixed
Who knows?
bag.
Hopefully,
Mixed
he's
bag.
not entering the old man phase either.
Oh man.
That's enough of all this TV movie bullshit. Let's get down to brass tacks here. EA is still talking mad shit on Steam. APL, I know you have some. Let me set this up real quick. EA is bagging on, and tell me if I get this wrong, they're bagging on Steam sales and saying that they cheapen the IP.
This was from a little while ago, and then basically Steam ended up retorting eventually. They were quiet on it for a while. And just basically in their calm, professional way, without calling EA out directly, we're just like, no, that's absolutely not the case. You can look at the numbers. And the argument from EA was that somehow it cheapens intellectual property to have these Steam summer sales and to do stuff like this. And it's just the numbers don't agree with it.
So here's Valve. So EA says they cheapen intellectual property. Valve says if that's what we thought was happening or that's what we saw happening, we wouldn't do it. Right. Actually, all the data is contrary to that. A promotion is not a policy. A promotion is just a feature to give people more value.
Right.
That was to PC Gamer.
And not to mention, directly after this interview with the exec who threw this out there on Steam, Origin had a sale literally the next week. Doing exactly what he just attested.
Right.
So,
but because it's first party, they get to monetize that entirely. So then there's not a cut.
I don't think any of these. I don't think all the people that bought Assassin's Creed for $14.99. I don't think over at Ubisoft they're crying because they just sold 1 million copies of that game right now. You know what I mean? It's
okay.
Well, I think it's a mixed bag.
Okay.
Because all of these so-called intellectual properties on the list aren't A-list titles, right? So, I mean, if you do a cross-section, you take a look at a few, you're thinking about things. And a lot of these games, kids were on the fence maybe in the first place. Maybe they didn't have the cash. Maybe on sale's the only way they can get it. Or, maybe Homeboy over at EA was just being very literal with the word cheapen. I mean, technically speaking, they are cheaper.
Are you
I love it.
If you want to defend EA, that's fine, Chris.
I'm not defending
one last
EA,
thing.
especially after the Battlefield servers.
I'm a fan of sales.
Yeah.
So that's the end of that sort of discussion, right?
Free's good
there we
too.
go. That
If you
ends
guys
it.
want to start giving out free games, we're all about that too.
Sales are good.
All right, real quick before we go, what are you guys playing right now? We'll start over here.
I just got back into Skyrim because
Okay.
of the Dawnguard DLC. So
Yep.
that's what I'm doing. And I just also want to say that I think that Chris Lockey makes seriously the best fucking Skyrim content on the internet today. So
Totally agree.
Yeah.
go fucking watch your
All
Skyrim
you got to
shit.
do is
It's so
type
good.
Skyrim and headshot into your YouTube browser.
Get you some
You'll get all
knowledge.
kinds of.
It is so
Alchemy,
fucking good.
all of
It's
it.
all right.
So I'm playing
It's all
Dawnguard.
right. Thanks, man.
What are you up to, Duke?
I'm playing Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
is
and plus,
it fun or
yeah,
still,
it's
or
fun.
is
I
it
mean,
work?
the problems I have with the game are the problems I had the first day I put it in. And they're problems that they're like remnants from the last game. Things I miss. It still manages to satisfy my need for exploration and
Yeah.
and all that shit. So it's cool, man. It's new content. A lot of good stuff in Dawnguard. A lot
right.
of people overlooked it really quickly.
Apple Fisher.
I'm playing Counter-Strike, CSGO, Counter-Strike Source, Blacklight. Played some Blacklight last night. So those are my go-tos right now.
I'm all Blacklight right
Yeah.
now. Blacklight Retribution. I got to be honest. I'm having a hard time seeing anything dethroning it multiplayer wise for a while,
Bold claims.
including
I-
through
oh.
November
You gonna mention any titles that would
when
be coming up?
Blops Deuce drops.
You really like Blacklight that much?
I do.
Honestly?
I
It's
do.
amazing.
Do you think it's because of the game, or do you think because it seems like you're making a transition over to your PC?
A little of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think your Beardo buddy will kick me down a PC so I can play Blacklight?
You know what? I'm gonna have a little talk.
Get in line, pal. Get in line.
I'm gonna have a little talk with Jared Garrison. All right, buddy, send us some GP. Make us some rich blacklight motherfuckers. Yeah. This is Radio Respawn. You can go ahead and slide that window shut. Cool breeze is over. Make sure you set the radio. You don't want to be late for work in the morning or school if you're a baby. There we go. You guys rock. Thanks for listening. Thanks for my panel for showing up, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. That wasn't embarrassing.